When I was a tutor, I was earning about £13,000 a month, just me working about 20 hours per week. And to so many people who want to leave teaching and move into tutoring, or maybe are trying to start a tutoring career of their own, that sounds crazy, mind-blowing. But I promise you, it's not as hard as you think. And the way I was able to get there, interestingly enough, is by giving tutoring away for free. So today I'm going to talk you through exactly how I did that, how all the numbers worked, and how I got exactly from having literally no online clients at all, having never taught online, within a year to being completely fully booked and having a waitlist. Now, I want to clarify that figure that I've put in the title of 50 to 150,000 pounds per year, that is just one person. Sure, if you want, you could maybe outsource some of your inbox, your emails and stuff like that, but that is literally you. Now I do run a tuition company. I've worked with 7 full-time tutors right now, but this I'm talking about just one individual person. Now, there is one important caveat, which is you have to be a good tutor to start with. I'm not here to help you with that. And I do a lot of tutor training and I am good at it. But I think for this, if you're not a good tutor already, you're not ready to scale. Instead, focus on working with a couple of clients and getting better at what you do. Now, if you're already a good tutor, great news, we're ready to scale and you're ready to build up to having a big client base and making some income from it. So a lot of tutoring is online these days, which I personally think is great. I think online tutoring is better than in-person tutoring. I've done loads of both. I think both have their benefits, but in this day and age, like everything is moving online, so let's go with it and make it better rather than fight it, in my opinion. But the biggest problem with that, in terms of getting clients, is trust. Because in person, obviously, if you meet someone, you know they're real, you had a conversation with them, like they're there, they turn up to your house, you pay them. There's kind of no way that it can go wrong unless you're paying in advance. With online, it's obviously very different, and there are so many scams out there that people come to you naturally cautious and naturally ready to believe that you're trying to scam them. I could not tell you the amount of times I was told, well, I just think this is a scam, it sounds too good to be true. And I love the compliment of like, your offer sounds so good, I don't think it's real. Lovely, but at the same time, it can be frustrating. So that is the biggest hurdle that you have to fight with online tutoring, in my opinion. There are others. But the way you can do that is by giving away a free trial. And that's what I want to talk about today, about how you can give away so much free tutoring and still make that much money and bridge that gap between kind of the trust and the service that you're delivering. So let's talk about that. So a lot of places will do a whole hour trial session, which is great. You'll see a lot of the agencies online will kind of encourage their tutors to offer that, or maybe they just offer it as part of their standard. And that's good. Like, it is enough to kind of build a bit of rapport with the student, get to know them and see whether there's that connection. But it isn't always enough to demonstrate what results you can achieve. Like, in an hour, you can get some quick wins, but you can't necessarily make big changes. Whereas what I did is offered a 6-week period entirely for free. And in that time, you can do a lot more. You can see progress and see results and be able to show, look, I am a great tutor. I provide great results. This is what I do. And if you work with me long term, this is what you're going to see on a regular basis. It also just puts you way above the competition, because who else out there is offering 6 weeks for free? I mean, we are, but not many people are. And therefore, it immediately puts you ahead when people are comparing, because tutoring is something where people compare. So you want to make sure you do stand out. Now, it's really interesting in the tutoring world, because a lot of people, and I see this online a lot, are debating, oh, I'm not going to give my time away for free. Like, I value my time. Like, in the nicest way possible, get over it. Yes, value your time. And when you're charging, charge your worth, for sure. But there's a period where if you have no clients and you want to get clients, let's not waste that time. Let's give some value in that time and show what you're capable of, because value and goodwill will translate to payments later down the line. If it's not, you're not doing it right. And honestly, those people that tend to be like, oh, I'm too good to give away my time for free, they tend to be the ones that are out there struggling for clients. I'm not saying giving away free tuition is the only way to get clients. I'm not saying that at all. But it is a brilliant way to not only get clients, but build some goodwill and get yourself some referrals as well, which I'll talk about a bit later. All kind of whilst getting people on board in a pretty quick time frame as well. Before we get into the numbers of it, what do you actually benefit from giving away 6 weeks for free, or however much tuition you want to give away? Well, the first thing is trust. As we said, with online tuition, there is that massive barrier of, are you even real? Are you a scam? Who knows? The second thing is you can show that you are actually a good tutor, and that's what people want, right? They want someone their child is going to get on with. They want somebody who they know is reliable, that they can trust, and obviously who is actually going to get them the results that they're looking for. And it also builds goodwill and brings recommendations. In that year where I built my client base up from nothing to being fully booked, 50% of my students came from recommendations. Now that is crazy. That is so good, and tutoring is a massive word of mouth business as it is. So if you can bring in more and more and more of that, it makes your life so much easier. So you figured out your offer, you figured out what you want to give away for free. How do you actually find people to give that offer to? Now, my biggest recommendation is to read $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozy. If you're in business and you haven't read both of his books, literally pause this video, go away and read them right now, because they will change what you're doing, especially for a service-based business like tutoring. But there are kind of 3 ways you can do this, and I've used all 3 ways. All work really well for this style of online tutoring. The first is organic. Think about where your particular client is. Now, if you're tutoring in the sense of kind of working with children who are in school, their parents are on Facebook. So spend your time in local Facebook groups. If you join a load, I think I'm in like 600 at this point. If you join a load, you will see consistently every day people are asking, does anyone know a maths tutor? Does anyone know an English tutor? Oh, I need a science tutor. Like, people are looking. Tutoring is a very word of mouth thing, as we said. So people are always asking. If you're the first one in their inbox saying, hey, I'm offering a however many week trial, they're coming to you. The next place you can look is you could use paid advertising. I've done this too, and it works really, really well. Essentially, the easiest way to do this is just start off with a low budget, call out your ideal client in your ads, whoever that is, and again, $100 Million Leads will help you with that. And make sure you use the ads to get their details. So essentially, you want a lead so that you can get them on the phone and talk about your trial going forwards. The last way, as I said, is recommendations. And the easiest way to do this is ask for them. Like, just send an email out to all of your current students and say, hey, I've got this crazy offer. You know that I have this crazy offer of how many weeks free because you've just done it. I'd love to see, do you have any friends that would help you, would like that help as well? And you'll be surprised. You can even incentivize that referral by giving more free tuition if somebody else comes to you. And you might say, well, I've already given them 6 weeks for free. Why would I give them more for free? Yeah, fair enough. But if you do the maths of, okay, it costs me this much to give another 6 weeks for free, but if I get another student on board over the lifetime of 2 years or however long they stay with you, they're going to pay you X many thousands of pounds. Trust me, it's worth it to give them another free 6 weeks. So I've given you all this information about what I did, and part of this is, I want to help other people, but it's also just for me to document the journey and remember what I did before kind of running the company. But you might be thinking, right, I charge £25 an hour, that does not add up to 150k a month without me doing crazy amounts of work. Yes, I agree, I get it. So let me go through the numbers, and you have to excuse me because I've got my notes with all the numbers on that I'm looking at. So if you want to hit 150k per year and you only want to do 20 hours per week of teaching, which I think is a good balance of like life and work, you need to charge roughly £150 per hour. Now, let's be realistic. If you look at the tutoring market in the UK, not many people are going to be willing to pay that unless you're a very specialist or very qualified. Either like that's fine, that does exist. I know people that do charge this, but it's not generally going to be the average person coming in and starting their tuition business. So what we need to do instead is be a little bit smart. Instead, what you can do is run group classes. You can charge £20 to £30 per head and have between 4 to 8 people in your groups. That really depends on what you teach, what your setup is, and what kind of lessons you want to deliver. But if you do that and you run 1-hour sessions, people, once they give it a go, actually really like it because they like the fact that they get the same results as they do one-to-one tuition at a reduced price point, and they still have a great experience. So to give you the maths for that, if you charge £25 per person, you have 6 people in a lesson, so I've kind of gone in the middle on both of those numbers here, and you teach 4 classes per day, 5 days a week, that's £3,000 per week. Scale that up, you've got over £150,000 per year. Might sound crazy, but I promise you it's doable, and it doesn't take that long to fill up if you are consistent and you put the effort in to do so. Now, I've said group sessions, and you might go, oh, nobody ever wants to join my group classes. I've tried it before. Yes, it's because a lot of group sessions are rubbish and people don't know how to teach them. It's because they're not good at giving attention to multiple different people, but we'll talk about that in a different video. But what I will say is, create something that's great. Trial it first. You're giving stuff away for free anyway. It's a great way to trial stuff. But the free trial removes the barrier of, well, I think I'm going to hate this. It's like, well, try it. What do you have to lose? And that's a great question to ask, because the only thing really is time. And as long as you are as good as you say you are, then there's not going to be an issue. If I've said all those numbers to you and you're like, well, can't I just sell that? Why do I have to do a free trial? Like, go for it. If you think your sales skills are there to be able to just sell your programs off the bat, group sessions, whatever it is, go for it. There's like, you don't need to do this. But if you're at zero and you want to get to that point and you're struggling to get people into your classes, I promise you this way really, really works. And I've done it by myself and I've done it at scale as well. So I'm not just saying this out of nowhere. But one thing to note is that the benefits of the goodwill that you get from giving something away for free to start with aren't necessarily replaced by sales skills. So it's just something to think about. But if you do give it a go, let me know. I'd love to hear what your experiences are. And that's what I did to get to 150K per year with tutoring.